We welcome and have a privilege and our honor to have Ravi J. Robert. First of all, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you for being in our booth and finding your time to talk to us. And I have with me Nilay Kumar. Nilay actually heads the product and business of CNOPS platform. So, sir, the first thing we wanted to know, how do you see the India is stepping up or the global technology scenario is setting up by end of 2025?
You see, the past 24 was more on fast tracking. If you see the networks, we were fast tracking 5G networks. So the 5G network, as such, had the three essential components.
Yeah.
The one was the speed, one was MBB, and then we have the latency thing. The 24, we were able to commission number of towers. We are more concentrating on speed, how we can develop high-speed network. I think 2025 is more into these MBBs and your ultra latency communications, etc., which is really required. For example, you might have seen in today's in the IMC, many of them are only talking about XR VR. So the multi-sensory applications on the real-time thing is going to be a real trend. That is what we see in 2025 happening, for which the networks are going to be ready for that, especially the other two sides of the triangle, what we call.
So, linking to that question, so what are the specific use cases you do see the 6G will bring in? A lot of use cases you also have shortlisted as part of the government on 5G. And any additional use cases going to come in the 6G, or you see that same 5G will deliver better with the 6G?
This is a very interesting question. Recently, we had the discussion where the world, across the world, all the countries displayed what could be the 6G use cases. We talk about a lot of use case application, but primarily, I think probably multi-sensory XR VR environment is going to be the killer application there, which means, it is a real feeling, what we call, take it in any field. If you take in education, we can talk about immersive education. We can able to know how your child is studying in your schools or something. That particular touch which will help the society is going to be one clear indication, which I think. The other very interesting thing that is taking up is what we call the brain to machine communication. That's another new thing that is coming up.
Again, going on further on the 6G, we are seeing that a lot of non-terrestrial communications are going to take a major role in 6G. When you talk about non-terrestrial, of course, it's satellite will be the major component of it. And how is government playing role in terms of issuing licenses? Because this putting or an escape velocity or putting it in the orbit in the satellite, a license scheme is not that. Now government has recently given licenses to operate on the SATCOM phones. So how are you looking into it? Like, what's your view on that?
Yeah, you're really clear, spot on at least in the 6G area.
Yeah.
6G, one of the key things which we are pushing in is what we call the NTN networks, non-terrestrial networks. Can I have a ubiquitous connectivity, say, whether you're in the space or even in your submarines?
Yeah.
So in that particular place, yes, lot of studies, lot of recommendations, frameworks are all evolving on its own. I'm very sure you'll come to know more about this
Yeah.
in a few months. Let me not go into the specifics
Okay.
right now. But what I think this is there. Everyone talks about it. Even BSNL, you might have seen. We launched the first D2D device, probably in the country. Probably we can say in Asia, other than China. We are the first to have launched this, where you can, anywhere you go, we don't have a network, you'll be able to have these services. And lot of operators are now trying to say, tie up with organizations where they can release what we call CubeSats, small satellites, which will again cover. So that the ultimate idea is 6G requires a very seamless connectivity, because we are going to talk about what? Connected vehicles, connected environment. In this connected environment is all more important wherever you are, you remain connected. So satellite is going to play one of the major roles in particular one.
What we are seeing is all the operators, they are spending most of their money on the burden of providing services on the cell edge. The cell edge is where actually there are a lot of customers out there because wide in coverage and they don't get right quality. So what we are seeing is that AI, if you can do something to make sure that the cell edge burden reduces.
Yes.
So that's I think maybe we should work on.
Yeah, that's going to happen. And to add something more on it is, that security component is coming.
Yes.
In 6G, we are going to talk about DLT even in your core, DLT maybe in your edges. in your devices. So imagine the core, your edge and the device, everything comes together. Then your network is secure, and then what you say is becomes
Yeah.
reality.
Security in operations, security in providing services, it's what we should
Yeah.
work on the 6G. And how is your take on the devices?
We will enter into what we call as non-smartphone era. You will not have any smartphones so
Dumb
far.
phones.
No, not even a phones. You'll walk around. Suppose
Okay.
you have a call, any of your wearables, maybe my specs, maybe my watch, maybe my boots.
Wearable
Can
devices.
all your wearable devices itself will act as an element. And then at a click of, or even if you
Gestures.
wink, your gestures can bring an holographic communication in front and you start talking
Okay.
on a reality. That's going to be the real future.
We'll implant sensors in our bodies.
In devices. Yeah, yeah. And that's where your
Yeah.
ban is coming, body area networks.
Yeah.
There's another very big area which we are talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Body area networks coming up in 6G.
So all this when we come, I don't know how will you operate it. So we again need AI to operate. You have been an avid user of synops, and we tried our best to give it a fluid AI, a fluid UI, and which can actually combine your fault performance from RAN, transport, and core all together. So what we have seen in the various operators across the globe, at least 300, 400 different monitoring systems. That was the largest, biggest challenge what given to us 7 years back when we started looking at this platform. And that was the concept when we were brought in. And then we thought, okay, we will have one Converse platform. Then we saw that, okay, it needs a certain computations, it needs certain UI simplicity, it needs certain data to be handled in a real way. We have also Sonyu, or in fact, it is running with sizable amount of network elements in your network. So what's your opinion, sir, on this?
Yes, Radhakan. You see, I've been using this for quite some time now, and I'm really pleased with this performance. So I have been basically an installer of various technologies, and I know what are the different operating systems that have been available across the world in various scenarios. I should really say that the operating system which you have put in place is really class apart. It is very simple to use, very user friendly, and it also gives me a macro picture of the network at one glance. Be it what is the number of KPI parameters which I can drill down to up to a tower level, what performance initiatives I can get. I can use this on a AI platform where can I even do a predictive analysis, and then it can aid predictive maintenance of the network also. And overall, I can see the network observer, how the network performs, what I need to do. Really, it is amazing platform.
Just to build upon it, as you mentioned about the fluidity and elasticity to do the dynamic resource orchestration, when it needed, can I change into the RAN automatically? It provides what we are working apart from. The code base is same from SON, SMO, and CNOPS, and the sensing of the network from the observability perspective, which currently we have already deployed, sensings to taking the action, system generated, no human in between, is what we are trying to build. And that is where
That's precisely what we should move ahead. So that's what we call a digital twin platform pushing into a thing. And more what Radhakan was trying to say on his own, we should actually think about SSN,
Yeah,
not from SON to SSN.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
how do you feel the observability platform, which provides a complete stack from top to down? So how do you feel like from a management layer perspective, your experience identifying fault and performance together from config data, inventory data at one place, how it ease out your strategic discussion and your with the team?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it's really a phenomenal platform that with, especially when the network, when I observe the network, then we can drill down up to network elements and see what is wrong, and I can even click and then see what is happening. That really helps us to give a overall idea of the network, which helps me to take strategic decision maybe in hours rather than days.
Brilliant.
So that's what the platform has been.
Brilliant. So I think we can conclude. And
Thank
thank
you.
you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you all